Hello, everyone, and welcome to my review of Minions. Yes, the new animated feature film by Universal and Illumination Entertainment, otherwise known as the spin-off movie to the Despicable Me films. So yeah, Minions. I didn't really know I was going to go and see this movie, but yeah. So the plot of Minions is that the Minions have been looking for a master across time, and the plot is if they don't find a master to serve, they will die and fade away. So three selected ones, three minions, Kevin, Bob, and Stuart, they go on quest to find an evil villain at VillainCon, where they meet Scarlet Overkill, who is this evil woman, and they decide to work for her, but little does she know that they are, well, does they know that she wants to take over England, and she wants them to infiltrate Buckingham Palace and retrieve the crown. And that's pretty much it. Then it's a kind of a race from there on. So yeah, Minions, directed by the same guys that directed the Despicable Me movies. I don't know their names. I will when I put them in the description. But so, what do I think of Minions? Yeah, I suppose it was good. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the hugest Despicable Me fan. I mean, I like the movies. I recently watched the second one and actually quite enjoyed it. So, the Minions, I enjoy. I mean, I didn't think they needed their own film, but they're obviously very popular. So, this movie's good. This movie is entertaining. I mean, there are some really entertaining moments. But there is a certain amount of silliness, obviously, because it's just little creatures making a noise. So there's not really room for much development of character, but they don't really try to develop the villain, Sandra Bullock's character, Scarlet Overkill, or her husband Herb. They don't really develop the sort of the human characters, which is a shame, really, because that could have made for some great, I wanted to find out how she became evil. How did she become evil, and her motivations for stealing the crown? It's kind of a cliched movie in the sense, the villain wants world domination, but well, except she just wants to rule England. So I suppose for that reason. But yeah, her husband didn't really seem like a necessary character, if I'm honest. I mean, he was okay, I suppose. I mean, he was funny, but yeah. I mean, the minions themselves, they're cute and they're funny, but it's hard to really kind of pinpoint them out as characters, apart from the main three that they focus on. Like, the other ones are just kind of there in the background. And they are funny, but after a point, it does get irritating them being on screen for too long. I think it was better in Despicable Me because they weren't the central focus. It was more about Gru. So in that sense, I think it's not as good as Despicable Me. However, the animation looks crystal clear. It looks stunning. And I really did love to look at the movie. And there is actually a short section of the movie where there is like a stop motion animation where Scarlet is telling the minions a bedtime story. And she's talking about, it's like the Three Little Pigs, but her version of it. And the stop motion is actually done rather wonderfully well. Yeah, it's very good. It's very impressive. The plot isn't really that compelling to me. I mean, I suppose in one sense it's quite nice, I mean, see them because it shows you how they get to Gru. And spoiler alerts, yeah, sure, probably should have mentioned that I might spoil a few things in this review. There is towards the end there is a nice surprise cameo, and it does lead into sort of Despicable Me very well. So essentially, this is kind of a prequel to Despicable Me. So yeah, I suppose in that sense it's very good. It ties the way it ties up. The comedy was hit and miss for me. I mean, obviously there was some comedy for children's, and that's perfectly fine because that's the target audience that you're aiming for. Um, some of my favourite comedy scenes, was the Queen when she was in the pub. That was quite funny. And when Stuart was using the hypno hat, that actually made me laugh out loud. That was the funniest scene in the movie. The rest of it was kind of good. I chuckled along. I mean, there was a woman behind me who was really laughing. She came with her 10-year-old son to see it, and she was laughing all the way through it. So yeah, well, at least it made some people laugh. I think it's more of a kids' film though. I don't think adults are going to like it as much. Although if you love if you love the two Despicable Me films, then this is a good film for you. I don't think it's as good as those films, but it is good. It's romping good fun, but there is a lack of character development, and the plot isn't really all that compelling. But it's a fun adventure. I mean, but as a piece of film, it doesn't quite. I don't know if it quite really hangs together so well. So I don't really know how to rate this film. It was a bit of a struggle for me. I'm not really sure because I hadn't seen the Despicable Me films for a while. Well, at least the first one, because I hadn't seen the second one until recently. And the second one was good. I don't think this is on par with those films. I mean, it's a nice one to add to the set, I suppose. But yeah, so if I had to rate this film, I'm probably going to give it, I'd say a 6 out of 10. You might think that's a bit low, but it's a fun movie. I mean, but it's not deep, where it doesn't really stretch to an emotional peak. And the cast are great as well. I mean, the narration by Geoffrey Rush is also nice. So yeah, it's got a great cast, but overall, it's just kind of like meat and potatoes. It's very basic, very straightforward. It's something that the kids will enjoy. It was either that or Terminator Genesis again. So I think I'd already seen Terminator Genesis, so I didn't want to see it twice. It's not worthy of a second viewing in the cinema. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about Minions. What do you think? Comment down below. Let me know. In terms of the cast, I probably should have mentioned. I think Sandra Bullock was very good. A Scarlet Overkill, although be it underdeveloped. I like Jon Hamm as well. But some of the other cast are just kind of the main characters are just making little noises, so there's not much really to say. But there we go. Thank you all for watching, and as always, I'm Mr. Thomas11. See ya.